Abusia, the story of George W. Maclaurin is a story that is often told as the first African American to attend the University of Oklahoma. He became a professor because of his courage. But then the story of George W. Maclaurin goes beyond this. In 1950, George W. Maclaurin applied for admission in the University of Oklahoma to pursue doctorate in education because George was already having masters in education, but he was denied. And Maclaurin, who wasn't happy about his denial, sued the university at the U.S. District Court, basing his argument on the 14th Amendment. At that time, Oklahoma law prohibited schools from instructing blacks and whites together. But the court found that the university's inability to provide separate facilities in order to meet the Oklahoma law and not allowing George W. Maclaurin to pursue his doctorate was actually a violation of his constitutional right. So the court ruled in favor of George W. Maclaurin that University of Oklahoma must admit him, but did not issue any injunction as requested by George W. Maclaurin regarding him being separated from the white student. So the University of Oklahoma admitted George W. Maclaurin. But guess what? He was provided a separate facility, including a special table in the cafeteria, a designated screen and desk in the library. He was also provided a separate desk, even in the classroom. And sometimes he was forced to sit outside the classroom depending on how big the classroom is. And he was even prevented to interact with the white students and the professors. It continued for a while. But George W. Maclaurin, who wasn't happy about this treatment, petitioned the U.S. District Court to require the university to remove the separate facilities and allow him to interact with the other students and professors. But the U.S. District Court denied Maclaurin's petition. But Maclaurin did not give up. On June 5th, 1950, he appealed to the Supreme Court on the same subject matter, and that was the turning point for George W. Maclaurin. The United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of Maclaurin, stating that a public institution of higher learning could not provide different treatment to a student solely because of his or her race, and as doing so, deprive the student of his or her 14th Amendment right of equal protection. So the High Court reversed the decision of the U.S. District Court, requiring the University of Oklahoma to remove all restrictions under which George W. Maclaurin was attending the institution. But even after the removal of the restrictions by the university, the racial abuse on George W. Maclaurin did not stop. But then he used that one as a leverage to learn more than anyone, to listen more than anyone, go through the hard way, persevered, and built a legacy for himself. George refused to quit and showed up at the University of Oklahoma every day, every time, regardless of the challenges, and he persevered even through the unfavorable conditions. All too soon, the very student that once rejected George W. Maclaurin because of his race began seeking him out for explanations, guidance, help, and assistance. The brilliance of George W. Maclaurin could never be overlooked or ignored. He went on to become a professor and taught for many years until George W. Maclaurin retired and passed on September 4th, 1968 at the age of 73. The story of George W. Maclaurin became the bedrock for the success of most African American students in the United States. Now hear me, if you are worried about rejection, then show me a man who has never been rejected, and I will show you a man who has never tried anything meaningful or challenging in his life. If you really want to pursue higher and achieve your goals, you definitely face rejections, and the bitter truth is that some of those rejections will come from the people that you call friends and family. But guess what? Don't worry, because that is also part of the story. So learn to go through it and grow from it. Just use that one as a leverage to upgrade yourself and pursue higher. There is no need proving anyone wrong. Just prove yourself right, regardless of how unfavorable your condition may be. It doesn't matter how they perceive you to be, and it doesn't matter how they see you. That is not a burden for you to carry. Be purposeful and be deliberate about your vision and dreams. And in the end, your future self, as I keep saying, will be proud of that stronger version of you that did not give up just because people did not like him or her. It is possible. If George W. Maclaurin and a few others did it regardless of the challenges, then just know that you can definitely do it. Just be purposeful and deliberate about your dreams and vision. Don't quit, because quitters, as they say, never win, and winners never quit. And it's as simple as that. Drop a few likes and follow the page for more. Mediani Citizen, Kojo Jr. God bless you.